Welcome back to Mexico. Welcome to a weekend which is going to be a little bit messy with time zones. However, we're making it work. Welcome to the practice report. You know the drill by now. We've done this since the summer break. In today's video, we have a little chat about FP1. We have a discussion about FP2. Of course, we miss out FP3 because that hasn't happened just yet. But we try and understand as much as we can from the practice sessions. Who's looking good for qualifying? Who's looking good for the race? Who's looking good on those long runs? So if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. Of course, I've got to mention it, and everyone's going to keep mentioning it. This weekend, Lewis Hamilton can wrap up a 6th world title. He's got to outscore Valtteri Bottas by 14 points, which is quite an ask. So I'm not convinced he's going to be able to do it this weekend, but I've got to lay my cards down and say it is a possibility. That said, you're here for times, you're here for testing, or practice, so let's jump into that. Starting with FP1, it was Lewis Hamilton, after I just said that I don't think he'll wrap up the title, he was fastest in the first session, just 1/10 in front of Charles Leclerc. Ferrari looking very good so far in practice. Max Verstappen was P3, making it 3 different teams in the top 3. However, Alex Albon made it a Red Bull 3-4 in P4. That rhymed, that was awkward. Valtteri Bottas, P5, he needs a big weekend to stay in the championship hunt, though I probably should say, only Hamilton or Bottas can win the championship. Sebastian Vettel down in P6, pole position last time out in Suzuka. He'll want a better race, or at least a better race start than last time out in Suzuka. We're getting used to this now. Carlos Sainz, best of the rest in P7. But I think the biggest surprise of FP1 and FP2, the Toro Rosso team. They've been announced that they will be called AlphaTauri next year, but P8 for Gasly, P9 for Danny Kvyat, with Giovinazzi P10. Hulkenberg, P11 for Renault. They are coming into this weekend riding an absolute storm after being disqualified from the Japanese Grand Prix for using an illegal braking system. And what's even more interesting is Romain Grosjean has come out today and said the team have been using this system since 2015. Yeah. Well done, Grosjean, putting the team in it there. I mean, he's for a rival team, so you can understand it, but gave him a little chuckle this morning. Anyway, back to the times. It was Grosjean's teammate, Kevin Magnussen, in P11. 1.6 seconds separated first from P12, which I don't think is actually that bad. And I think we'll have a very close fight, especially end of Q3 and end of Q2. Kimi Raikkonen, P13, he's always there or thereabouts, Kimi Raikkonen, in these practice sessions, ahead of Lando Norris in the McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo down in P15, in front of Lance Stroll, and home hero Sergio Perez. Romain Grosjean, P18, the 2 Williams, 19th and 20th, with Latifi in his first of 3 in a row practice sessions, dead last, P20. Moving on to practice 2, and also don't worry, I will do a bit more of a in-depth analysis in a moment, so just bear with me. I just thought I'd get the times out the way and be done with it. FP2, I sounded really interesting then. FP2, Sebastian Vettel was fastest, so 6th in the first session, fastest of all in the second session. However, once again, it was only 1/10 separating the top 2. This time it was Max Verstappen P2. When we have a look at your predictions a little bit later on, a lot of you expecting big things from Max this weekend. Charles Leclerc in the top 3 for Ferrari. Then became Bottas and Hamilton. Mercedes looking a little bit off the pace. As I mentioned earlier, the 2 Toro Rosso cars absolutely blitzing it at the moment. P6 for Danny Kvyat, P7 for Pierre Gasly. I think those two are going to have a pretty awesome scrap this weekend, with the likes of Carlos Sainz in P8, Hulkenberg P9, Norris P10. So I think Toro Rosso, McLaren are going to be the teams to beat in that midfield. Renault potentially just behind them. Moving now into the final 10 from FP2. It was the 2 racing points. Lance Stroll ahead of Sergio Perez again. What an upset that would be if Stroll finished ahead of Perez in the race this weekend. They're looking okay, Racing Point. They were optimistic at the beginning of the weekend in their press releases, expected to be up there with McLaren. Doesn't seem to be materialising just yet, but they could be holding back in practice. Daniel Ricciardo, P13, Kimi Raikkonen, P14. Romain Grosjean ahead of his teammate in 15th place. Haas and Alfa Romeo seem to be the 2 teams at the back of that midfield fight, just in front of Williams. Well, I say just in front, quite comfortably in front of Williams. Giovinazzi P16, Kevin Magnussen P17, George Russell P18, Robert Kubica back in the car for FP2 P19, and Alex Albon Only 5 laps completed, down in P20. Had a bit of an incident, brought out the red flag. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Right, now we can breathe. Time's out the way. I can stop throwing numbers at you. What actually happened in this session? So, I think it's important to... I might as well just say it now. I will jinx it, of course. It looks like it's going to be a potentially wet weekend, or at least it's looming in the air. So first practice session, we saw plenty of cars strap on the intermediate tyres. Lewis Hamilton set the early pace on the inter tyres. However, the session did dry up a little bit later on. Hamilton still stayed top. However, lots of cars making mistakes, and even when the conditions got a little bit drier, lots of cars really struggling down at turn 1. Pirelli, I think, have done a really good job with tyres this weekend. A lot of cars struggling to find the grip out there. They've picked a little bit more of a softer compound of tyres this weekend, a little less grippy. Drivers are struggling, and I love to see that sometimes when they're really on the edge, really fighting against the car. In the first session, Stroll did get caught out. He was in the barriers in the final corner just after the stadium section, the incredible stadium section, and I can imagine for a lot of fans didn't have their glasses on, probably a little bit scared that was Sergio Perez in the wall. It was Stroll. He did manage to get the car going later on in the second session, but not the ideal start to the weekend. But there's the image on screen now. But as I mentioned, lots of drivers struggling. FP2, Alex Albon ended up in the wall just at the beginning of Sector 2. We saw Charles Leclerc have a big moment through Sector 2. He also spun at the end of the first straight. Valtteri Bottas had a spin down at the stadium section. Ferrari are looking the quickest. They are looking the quickest on quali pace, and I would say race pace as well. I would then say Red Bull seem to be that team that are in there in the mix. However, Mercedes have been quite cool cats, I would say, over practice, using the hard tyres in practice, suggesting they might go for a bit of a different strategy. However, their long runs on the hard tyres did look quite good, so keep an eye out for them in the race. But quali, I think Ferrari have got this one. Moving on to your predictions. Every time we do preview and predictions video, at the end, I say, look, if you give me your predictions, I'll put the top ones in the video tomorrow. Here you go. We've got 3 once again, and can I just say, I really can't pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. However, many people are suggesting Max Verstappen will be a race winner. Jedi here. Yeah, I've really cut out the difficult part there. Jedi has gone for a Charles Leclerc pole position with Max Verstappen on the front row. Biggest shock, a midfield car before a Mercedes. I like that. Podium, Verstappen, Albon, Vettel, so Leclerc getting into some troubles. Hamilton retirement, driver of the day Albon, best of the rest Sergio Perez. Another awkward name to say, apologies. Zohei Bucks is how I will go for it, but what I will say, awesome picture of Kimi Raikkonen there. Pole position, Max Verstappen, front row Verstappen and Albon. Biggest shock, Verstappen and Albon will get the same time in Q3, Verstappen setting it first, which would mean he would get pole position. I know it's off the screen, apologies, it was a long one. Winner, Max Verstappen, again, everybody, every single person in the comments saying Verstappen winner, except someone who said Romain Grosjean, and that wasn't me. Thank you for that. Driver of the day, Gasly, best of the rest, McLaren. First retirement, Charles Leclerc, but also Bucks is going for an Albon, Verstappen and Vettel podium. Interesting. And our final one comes from Waleed Afzal. I probably butchered that one as well. He has done an enormous, ginormous prediction. That's your qualifying top 10, and Leclerc pole position with Verstappen on the front row. Alex Albon up in P4, Bottas down in P7. I thought that was quite interesting. And the race, yes, everyone in the comments section, I said this a minute ago, everyone went for Verstappen win, so no surprises there. Hamilton P2, Bottas down in P6. Wouldn't mean Hamilton wins the title. Also interesting ones of note there. Carlos Sainz best of the rest. Lance Stroll P9. First retirement Sebastian Vettel gets punted. Then best of the rest Sainz. Driver of the day Perez 18th to P8. I know a lot of people really want Sergio Perez to have a really strong weekend. He's gone well here before. Retired here last year. But in front of the home fans, he is definitely the favourite. You're going to hear chants all weekend. Hopefully. Fingers crossed for Sergio. He's been on a good bit of form recently. I think he'll be alright. Anyway, that's your lot from the practice report. Again, this weekend the schedule is going to be a little bit messy, so as I said yesterday, expect the normal schedule just to be a day later. So the qualifying report to come out on Sunday, the race report to come out on Monday. I might do that Sunday evening. I don't know. I play it by ear. Very chilled out here, so if you're new, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want, but if you enjoyed, then why not? Thank you very much for joining. I hope you did enjoy the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.